So I was going through the comment section of one of my recent videos about Kishane Thompson, and this comment jumped out at me. So the person was saying that Kishane was just pure hype and the man was not able to deliver. So what they were saying is that Kishane was overhyped and flopped at the Olympic Games. And we're going to talk about just that in this video. But before I get to that point, I want to point out some very important things. You know what? I've come to appreciate a lot about Kishane's performance in his very short stint in the sport so far. And I'll tell you why I say that. So straight off the bat, as a Jamaican, I truly appreciate the fact that Kishane has put us back into the conversation. Yes, the Jamaicans can now have something to cheer about. Now we know that we truly stand a chance in the absence of Usain Bolt. Now we know that we are back in the argument of the medals, and that's something that we have to appreciate as a Jamaican. But outside of being a Jamaican, you know, the fact that you're a track and field fan, you'll have to appreciate the excitement that Kishane brought back to the 100 meters, or should I say brought back to the sprints. Because before Kishane came onto the scene, the sprints were becoming a one-man show very rapidly. And had Kishane not entered the game, this whole conversation would have just been about Mr. Noah Lyles. And Kishane brought something back to the sport where we can expect some serious competition. We're not expecting just Noah Lyles to turn up and we know that he's going to take the game. Right now, Kishane is putting some serious pressure on Noah Lyles, and that is something that we have to appreciate. We have to appreciate that element that Kishane brought back to the sprinting. Now, onto the bigger topic. Some people think that he was overhyped, and some people think that he flopped. But looking at everything in context, Kishane could never have been overhyped. Of course, most people had him down to beat Noah Lyles over the 100 meters, and that was very logical because look at it. Kishane came in 2024. Every single race that Kishane ran was under 10 seconds except for one race that he ran in the 100 meter heats at the Olympics. Right? That was the only race that was 10 second flat. Prior to that, everything else that Kishane touched was gold. Kishane ran a superb 9.77 seconds at the Olympic trials under pressure while slowing down. So if we put all of that in context, the gentleman ran about 7 races, 5 of those were sub-10s, 1 was 10 second flat and the other one he was not able to finish based on some discomfort that he was feeling. So now how could you classify such a performance? Now after seeing that, how could you arrive at the place that you were saying that Kishane was overhyped? Now moving further to the 100 meter finals where they think that he flopped. Think about it. Kishane at his first Olympic Games got a silver medal. How many athletes can boast of ever achieving anything like that or anything close to that? Now, if you even want to make reference to Noah Lyles, since he's one of the men in the conversation right now, at his first Olympic Games, he didn't have much to leave with, worse in comparison to what Kishane did. Now, let's take it a little bit further. Let's think about one of the best in the world to have ever done it, Johan Blake. Over the 100 and 200 meters, 1926, 9.69. Those are some of the fastest times ever done in the world. And for his 200 meters time, we know had he gotten a better reaction time, he probably would have been the world record holder in the 200 meters right now. But even Johan Blake had to settle for silver medal behind the great Usain Bolt. So how could you refer to someone who got a very good silver medal at the Olympics as being a flop? Remember guys, the 100 meters, it was so tight that the guys had to be settled by some thousandths of a second. That's unheard of. When you look at the whole thing, Kishane as a rookie sprinter gave Noah Lyles a very serious challenge. So Noah Lyles never had much on Kishane Thompson in that final. As a matter of fact, he was very fortunate to walk out of that 100 meter final as the winner. Now when you look at that victory for Noah Lyles, it's one of those races that he can hardly celebrate for because it was so close that you could almost say that the person who is second is also first. That's how good the race was. And it was a super performance from Noah Lyles because of course he ran a personal best to defeat Kishane Thompson. So he did extremely well. But I'm putting this in the context to say that Kishane Thompson was never overhyped and he never flopped at the Olympic Games. It was a super performance. It was his first one as a rookie sprinter and he did extremely well. It's the first time in a long while I've ever seen Noah Lyles under pressure. Think about it. Every race, Noah is almost celebrating before he crosses the finishing line. But this time, he had to dig deep to get a personal best just to clip Kishane on the line. So, for all those who are thinking that hey, this was just pure talk and no action, I'm saying that they have it wrong. Kishane Thompson did very well. And as a matter of fact, if Kishane is well and in good health next year for the World Championships, I'm looking for some serious fireworks from Kishane Thompson. Of course, other persons will be in the game too, and we can't rule out anybody, and we'll never rule out anybody. But I think Kishane is doing extremely well for the sport right now. He's bringing it to a level that we want to see again in track and field. That was missing since Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Justin Gatlin, Tyson Gay, Asafa Powell. You know, what they brought to the sport was missing. And here we are at a point again where we are seeing a glimmer of hope, where an athlete or maybe athletes could start dipping closer to those times again. I think that's what the sport of track and field wants. It needs that energy and that fire. We don't want to see a sport where every time we have to get a certain level of excitement, we have to refer back to the Usain Bolt period, the Justin Gatlin, the Johan Blake, Tyson Gay, Asafa Powell. We want to see a sport where persons are consistently, or persons are presently bringing some of the same flame, some of the same swag, some of the same energy that those guys were capable of bringing. And I think Kishane comes at a point in time where he's injecting that into the game, where we see now that Noah Lyles is saying that the 100 meter is where the game is at. That's what Noah Lyles said recently. So we know that things are happening, and Kishane is a very instrumental part in what is happening right now. And the faster Kishane goes, the faster Noah Lyles and other athletes will go. So we are being set up perfectly for some really good track and field going into the future. 2025 should be exciting, so we're looking forward to that. This man is no hype. This man is the real deal. So I'm convinced that Kishane Thompson could soon be dropping some 9.6 or some low 9.7s. And the possibility is there that he'll break into that elite level where you only have a few of the top tier athletes who have ever gone. But who knows what's going to happen. If he stays injury free, I believe something special is in the making. So head into the comment section and let's know what you think.